All right. It is Pig here, bringing you a YouTube exclusive cast of a highly recommended action-packed TERRAN vs. TERRAN. This one is meant to be one of the best series of the recent few weeks. Up here in the top right, representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Clem rising to become the greatest TERRAN in the international non-Korean scene. He has really ascended to a new level. He's still very young, only about 17 years old, but absolutely smashing in the last 6 months, toppling the likes of Serral and Raynor in multiple instances. Now, normally a big favorite in this match, I'd say, but this was played in the EPT European Weekly Cup. For those who don't know, this cup has been nicknamed the Big Gabe Weekly because this man down here in the bottom left wins it almost every single week. He is so good in this cup. He streams himself playing it. He commentates while he's playing, and yet he's still so damned high performing, so consistent. It is none other than Big Gabe, aka Hero Marine, representing Mouse Esports here, going for a double gas opening. And Clem here, of course, also doing the double gas. So both of them wanting to play very safe, get up early, Reapers and Factory, get up into those tech units before expanding. Hero Marine will send out a scout just to check if his opponent's expanded or not, though. You can see that's been clicked across. Actually, is he thinking about proxying? Where has that been queued to? I'm not 100% sure. Now, Clem is definitely the favorite in this match. In their last 10 matches, Clem has actually won 8 out of 10 of their last clashes. So it's a hot streak of Clem just getting the better of him. A lot of close series there. A few one-sided ones, but 8 out of 10. That's a big winning streak over the last year. The one thing, though, that gives me a lot of hope for Hero Marine is in this cup, Hero Marine tends to just beat everybody, even players that are favored against him. He's had some amazing series in recent weeks. I've seen him take the fight to Raynor and smash him down. Just overwhelm players like Showtime regularly. So I actually think Hero Marine has a much better chance than those stats might show, and he looks so good in TvT lately as well. Now you see 2 workers pulled off one gas, one off the other there for Hero Marine. For Clem, likewise, both of them wanting to get those minerals to get the command center down. Just 2 minutes 22 and 2 minutes 26. So both very similar expansion timings, a second Reaper and a Hellion. And I wonder, there we go. Okay, so Reactor for Clem after the 2 Reapers. Will we see a Tech Lab after the Hellion? I'm not quite sure. And a Reactor does go down, just slightly delayed there for Big Gabe. Putting workers back on gas are both players now, starting to shuffle them over back on. Starport goes down really early for Hero Marine. He gets a Widow Mine, a nice defensive unit to add in there. Same for Clem as well. Also very useful if you do a drop, actually. We're seeing more and more people go for a 6 Marine Widow Mine drop in this matchup, just because it causes a big disruption. If you get a Widow Mine behind the mineral line with your Marines, when they come to engage it, you can kind of withdraw behind the Widow Mine, and the opponent can't just rush in there. A Widow Mine really does a lot to keep back an enemy Cyclone, stops their Cyclone from rushing in and sniping your medevac down. And Hero Marine is going for that Tech Lab now. That's Starport. You'll see this workers coming down to the natural, and the early gas going down for both of them. TERRAN vs. TERRAN early game's all about your tech units, so you need to be able to produce a lot of those. Excuse me. Managed to get as far away from my mic as possible. Couldn't quite hit the mic mute button in time. The sneeze is coming in hard and fast for this cast today. Oh, a Cloakless Banshee on the way for Clem. Interesting to see that. And another sneeze. My bad there, guys. My bad. Whew. Cyclone on the way for Clem. Meanwhile, Hero Marine's actually gone for a Siege Tank first behind this. And it is Hero Marine's drop that moves out first. 2 Reapers, 4 Marines, and a Widow Mine. Looks like he's queued up to come around the back. He's going to try and hit the rear of the mineral line. Clem actually playing very defensive so far. Really just sitting at home and chilling for now. He's got his own second Cyclone on the way and a Banshee. Oh, he wants to do a double Cyclone pressure, but this is inopportune timing for Clem, moving out just as Hero Marine's drop comes in. And Hero Marine's drop finds an undefended base. Clem quickly scrambles to defend. If he can shut down the medevac, it might be okay. Already an SCV falling. Another one will go down. And nice pick up there. Leaves the Widow Mine behind. That one Marine takes one for the team. But the other units all get on out of there. Clem, though, going to answer with his own harassment. That Banshee, no cloak on the way, but just a Banshee on its own going to come in, try and pick off some units. And Actually, there's no Cyclone here. So with good micro, Clem could do some really nice damage here. Notice he's pulling back from the Marines. The Banshee has 6 range, the Marines only 5. Already doing a good bit of damage. Only 2 shots to take out these Marines that don't have stim or combat shields. And is going to find a little bit more damage there. Nicely done by Clem. Okay, a couple of Marines going down as well. 2 kills there on the SCVs, but oh, so many Marines going down. This is really frustrating to deal with. And this is the weakness. If you go for that early siege tank, but you don't get yourselves a Cyclone, then a Banshee is so hard to deal with. Those little air harassments are very frustrating if you don't have that maneuverability. You can see the Cyclone now, though, moving around the right side, and it's going to lock onto that. Corners the Banshee between her and the Marines. And Cyclone push now coming for Clem. So Clem is going to build a 3rd base on location, looking to be very greedy with that, but he's going to cover it by being aggressive. He's going in for a double lock-on. He does double lock on the enemy Cyclone, but Hero Marine quickly saves it, picks it into the medevac, breaks the lock. And that cheeky maneuver from Clem doesn't end up really finding anything. He's going to try and move a tank forward. Is Hero Marine ready to deal with this? I don't know. Hero Marine, I think, is just going to drop a siege tank there in non-siege mode, just in tank mode. He focuses it down and takes down the auto turret, keeps his tank alive, and then picks up his tank and saves it from the Cyclone locks. Perfect defense so far for Hero Marine. He's got a tank sieged in the main, a tank in the natural, and his 3rd command center is actually going to be finishing quicker here. So far, these trades going in favor of Hero Marine. He's looking fantastic. Oh, that's a bit greedy. Okay, that was a bit overeager. He still saves the Cyclone, though. That medevac micro is so tight. Ooh, he realizes, okay, you're going to contain me a little bit. 6 Marines going to go across this map here. And they're going to move around the right side. So far, it does feel like Hero Marine's coming out on top. Ooh, Widowmine, though, does snag a Hellion. Okay, Hero Marine Cyclone venturing out. May have gone a little too far there, but no, once again, doesn't lose it. That Cyclone always getting tagged, not actually going down. And Hero Marine sneaking 2 Reapers around the map as well, so he's going to do a 2-pronged pressure. Those Reapers are going to try to run in the natural, where unfortunately they're going to run into a lot of army, but a drop on the right going in at the same time. They're actually going to wait, so maybe the drop can pull these units out of position and allow those Reapers to get in there and do some damage. Behind this, of course, the barracks transition on the way for both players, the stim. You can see Hero Marine's a little bit ahead on that. His barracks a bit faster. And he is floating his 3rd down, of course, a little bit later since he didn't build it on location. That drop coming in right now. And Clem there quickly pulls some SCVs away, but they're starting to fall. And those Reapers taking advantage of this. They're going to run in as well. A few units distracting on the 3rd, but a command center is not a very vulnerable target. It can take a few hits. Oh, did he get the Raven? Clem's Raven goes down there. Oh no, Clem losing a very valuable unit. I mean, he finally cleans up the Marines in the main, but not before 5 SCVs go down. Make that 6, those Reapers adding a little bit of damage. They even get a Marine before they go down. Behind this, Hero Marine just shoves across the map. He wants to evict Clem from his natural, from this 3rd base. Does Clem realize what's going on? Let's go to Clem's camera. Clem's trying to catch up on the macro after that drop. He splits a few Marine spotters, realizing that he's blind on the map, and that's his first warning. Those Marines getting gunned down. He quickly sieges, but Hero Marine jumping on top. Let's go back to everyone's camera. Defensive auto turrets going down against the offensive ones of Hero Marine, but those double interference matrices doing very well. Clem gonna have to use his Vikings. Can he overwhelm these tanks? If he can, it's okay. And it looks like, yes, he does manage to overwhelm this position. 2 landed Vikings of Hero Marine, though, do get 5 SCVs in the natural, but the Vikings there stopping him from lifting off does end up losing all of his tanks. So you know what? Tank advantage now goes to Clem, but you can see the worker advantage that's been built here for Hero Marine. He's up on 71 to 59 SCVs. His gases are getting established. Sensor towers. If we look at the barracks timing, he's already on 3 barracks adding combat shields. He's got 1 upgrading on the natural, and his 4th and 5th barracks are halfway done. Now let's compare that. Where is Clem's production? His 1 still has not started. His engineering bays are done, but he doesn't have the cash. His 4th and 5th barracks has not even been... There we go. It's just started now, so it's about 20 seconds delayed there. Going up on the natural, he's going to try and do his own counter drop to do a little bit of damage. But definitely trailing is Clem right now, whose 1-1 still has not started. He's got to get a move on with that 1-1. If he forgets that completely, he's going to be so far behind. And already a second factory on the way to add double tank production. That's usually the order. 5 barracks, get a second factory. And then it really depends on the player preference. Some people like to beef up their barracks count from there. Others like to go for more starports and dominate the skies early. Nice spotting here by Hero Marine. Sees this coming. And having been spotted, Clem's just going to back off. He knows he can't really hang on out here. Hero Marine doesn't even really... What does he do? Okay, he loads his own drop into the main. Just says, okay, let's just unload some Marines in the main. In case he does still commit, we'll be unloaded before him. Our Marines will win that fight. Clem starts a nice quick 4th command center, trying to catch up in that regard. One goes down for Hero Marine as well. Hero Marine with a little bit more map vision. A few Marine spotters out. Let's go back to the units count. A few Marines ahead. The double Raven's still alive. Very powerful for Hero Marine. That's going to be a big potential game changer. He's 2 Vikings up as well, and that's a potential problem. Clem's trying to catch up on that Viking count. If he doesn't miss a beat on his Vikings, and Hero Marine does, then maybe Clem can work his way back into a good position. But for now, Hero Marine's not giving him that opening, and Hero Marine already going up to 8 barracks, so he's going to get a ton of Marine production out as the armory has finished up. Where is the 2-2? There could be a big advantage building, but Hero Marine actually getting vehicle weapons, but forgetting his 2-2 bio upgrades for just a little bit. A bit more downtime than you'd like in this sort of scenario. He's got the cash for it, but Hero Marine a little bit slow to remember those upgrades, allowing the 1-1 to start to catch up for Clem, whose armory is well-timed as well. So if he starts his 2-2 immediately on that finishing, it's looking like he'll be able to close the upgrade gap completely. Another sensor tower going down. Hero Marine getting that 4th established. Still up 5 workers is Hero Marine. But now that they're on 4 bases, being up a handful of workers, being up a few Marines, it's not really that big of a deal, is it? It feels like, okay, you got a little edge in your Marine count. You're down 2 tanks. You got a couple Ravens, which will definitely help. You've got, a couple more SCVs slightly ahead on the upgrades. Is that going to really change the outcome? It all comes down to how these fights unravel, and Hero Marine having those numbers is going to be able to push forward and pick where and when these fights happen. Clem, he's got to make sure his tanks are sieged in the right position. So notice he's using those scans just to monitor where that army is. He's got 2 tanks pre-sieged on that base. He's going to siege some tanks here. Ooh, nice micro. Comes in, snags a Viking, pulls out. Notice the way Clem clumps up his Vikings by just spamming clicks underneath them. Grabs another Viking for free. Only getting tickled by the Marines there. Oh, Clem's going to try and come forward and ambush this. He stims forward, his tank's sieging, but Interference Matrix has locked down all 4 siege tanks. And those Ravens come in big for Hero Marine. He locks down all 4 siege tanks. The Ravens were the one thing which Clem did not properly take into account there. Now, oh, the Viking count for Clem actually so well micro, dude. He's actually still 1 Viking up. If he lost all those tanks, Marines, and lost air control, I think he might just be done right there. But keeping just a single Viking advantage is really important. And right now, Medivacs are building for Hero Marine, while Vikings are building for Clem. So Clem's going to maintain that advantage. Oh, whoa, Hero Marine pushing through the middle. That's a mad push and not a good move. His Marines all get just smashed there. I don't think he realized there was more tanks further behind that. He did take out a few of Clem's siege tanks, but gave away a little bit of his Marine advantage. I think this is a point where if he could find a way in the back lines with drops, it would be good, but we've got turrets around. There is still Vikings. It's dangerous to do that. And instead is going to rely on that upgrade advantage. 2-2 is about 50 seconds ahead there, plus 2 vehicle weapons as well. The 2nd and 3rd starport can allow Hero Marine to get the Viking advantage back and add Liberators to that to really smash through. Right now, it's 7 Vikings to 1 for Clem. So Clem has a massive air advantage, and I feel like that's where a lot of his efficiency has come from. It feels like in the Marine tank, for the most part, Hero Marine's been a little better. Yet overall, he's been less efficient, and that really does come off Clem's Viking micro and maintaining that count. Cyclone runs forward there, but tank pulls back, not able to get it. The Widow Mine threatening. I like these 2 Widow Mines on the ramps. If you ever walk into that with a clump of Marines, it's going to do huge splash damage. 1 Marine wants to take one for the team. A brave soldier. Players just kind of posturing right now. It's all about trying to catch your opponent out of position a little. So notice Clem's just kind of saying, just survive. That's it. That's all I got to do here. I just need to survive. Oh, he's just constantly down on the Marine count, so he's always afraid of Hero Marine just catching him off guard a little bit. Now, Hero Marine's a little bit in the open, and there's not that many tanks here. Only 4. Clem might actually be able to shove through this. Look at the way the Lib comes forward. He's got the Viking advantage. He's going to take out 1 tank. He might get a 2nd one. Hero Marine picks it up and saves it, but loses the medevac in the process. And Clem with that air advantage looking pretty nice right now. Hero Marine was doing a drop on the left, but he's realizing this push is so is so scary. This army push is so scary. He's pulling that drop back to maybe try and flank this. Oh, he's going to stim forward, but you got to be so careful right now. That 1 Widow Mine is blocking that base nicely, but the turret will finish and reveal that Widow Mine. And look at those units count. Upgrades are still ahead here for Hero Marine, who's going into Raven production now. But I think the Viking count's the big one. There's a problem right now, and that is that Clem is way ahead in the Vikings. And you've got to be careful. Because if you invest in Vikings but you have less, unless your Marines are able to equalize and actually land hits on the Vikings, Clem's just going to take better trades than you. Your Vikings, I mean, I feel like you want to have a few more Vikings than your opponent or none at all. The Marine stim forward for Hero Marine. He takes some massive, big splash damage shots from Clem's tank line, though, on the ramp. And actually, it looked like he was going to break through for a moment, but in the end, Clem holds on strong. Now, does Clem try to land on the tanks? That would be a very scary move. Just lands a single Viking in there, trades that for a tank using the friendly fire splash damage of Hero Marine to take that one down. And I mean, Clem was a bit behind. He's a bit on the back foot earlier in this game, but he's holding on. He just keeps preserving his tank count so efficiently. He's going to sneak a drop around the left side. That does have one tank on it, so that might defend the base. But if Clem kind of drops right on top of it or something, it could be big. Could technically maybe boost over this turret and get into the back of the main as well. Right now, Clem here holding onto this position. He's secured a 5th base, as has Hero Marine. So they've both got 5th bases up. That tank advantage is no longer there for Clem. It's 8 tanks to 9. The Marine count very similar. 6 Vikings building at a time for Hero Marine. So he really wants to take control of the skies, but he's still trailing by 1 Viking right now. If Clem can force an air fight right now, it'll be good for him. Oh, no Marine support for these tanks. Clem comes forward, but the Marines are actually nearby, and I think Hero Marine holds onto that position strong. Well played by Hero Marine. And there we go. He actually finally looks like is able to chase off the Vikings of Clem. Is it going to be enough? Look at that. Marines just dropping on top of the siege tanks. The Vikings pushing Clem back. Clem has to disengage. Finally, a Viking fight has been won by Hero Marine. He's going to push through the middle of the map, but there is that drop on the left. And oh, he moved the tank away. Hero Marine. Oh, what a big mistake. If that tank was still there, it could have killed most of these Marines. But look at that. Oh, don't lose the command center. He's going to have to send the SCVs in to repair these 8 Marines, though. More than a match for just 2 Vikings and a siege tank. Hero Marine needs to send more than that. Just a tank. He sieges one back there. Okay, it does land a shot. He finally defends it, but man, 6 SCVs go down. The command center takes a lot of damage. Hero Marine, oh, okay, the turret will take that out eventually. It looks like, though, Hero Marine having to do a lot to defend. He's pushing forward on the other side of the map, though. He says, okay, you can't distract me with that, mate. I know I've got the control of the skies now, but wait a second, does he? Clem not missing a beat on that Viking production. He's got more Vikings than Hero Marine right now, and I feel like that's been a big issue for Hero Marine, just not able to maintain those numbers. And Hero Marine was thinking about pulling away and just leaving 2 siege tanks almost as a fake there. Clem's tank's going to win that trade, though. Let's take that out. There's more Vikings here for Clem. Clem wins that air trade convincingly. Once again, Hero Marine taking a bad Viking fight. I feel like Clem has just been hanging on with his tanks, winning these Sky Wars. And look, he's sending another little counterattack around the left of the map. I think after that first 8 Marine drop had such success, he feels like as long as he just keeps expanding to these corners, using his air advantage and keeping his tank spread across his bases, if he can just slide a small backstab in once every now and then, it'll be effective. But on the other hand, Hero Marine is getting the Ravens up, one of the most high-value units in the game. They're very fragile, though, especially against an opponent who has Viking advantage. But they're very good for just locking down tanks and breaking what looks like an entrenched position. Suddenly becomes a very weak position in that scenario. I worry about this left base. There's 2 tanks there, though. They might be able to scare Clem off. Oh, big tank shots going down. Clem is just going to push onto it, though. He says, take it to the face. A beautiful spread on the Marines. This is a big problem here. And a bit of a push on the left. Clem's pushing down with his Liberators, trying to get on top of those siege tanks. He gets the command center. He's going to take that command center out that's building as well. These 2 tanks will defend, but ooh, Hero Marine having to cancel. And look at this. He's abandoning position in the middle as well. A lovely backstab here from Clem. And you know what? Clem's getting away with some bullshit right now. Hero Marine does come forward. Interference Matrix going to give him an efficient cleanup of that. That's a nice little trade, but oh, he's losing tanks in the middle, and a few Ravens get sniped. The Vikings are going to have to disengage. Clem wisely pulling back. About double the Viking count for Hero Marine right now. Do you try to contest that? Clem apparently says yes. The sky is the answer to this monster. If I give Hero Marine control of the skies, he's going to be comfortable. He's going to pick me apart, but as long as I have the Viking advantage, I am good. Hero Marine's going to try and break through this position. And look at that. Marines stimming forward. He doesn't have that many siege tanks or Marines with this. A very ambitious push. Can his tanks actually get sieged up? Is this a good fight or a bad one? I can't even tell. Auto turrets, interference matrixes, everything going down. He doesn't have much left on the ground, but his Vikings are definitely winning in the skies. It's just a matter of will those Marines and that Liberator make up for it. As these Marines come in for Clem, maybe turning that air war around a little bit. Does that siege tank fall? Oh, Oh, looks like it does. Hero Marine gets pushed back. I feel like a Liberator on any of these bases, or maybe even a drop in the back line or behind the mineral lines, would really slow Clem down. But I think in these frontal fights, it feels like, oh, I was going to say Clem seems to be winning them, but look at that. Grabs a whole bunch of the tanks. That was like 3 or 4 siege tanks going down. Hero Marine maybe chasing a little too deep. But that Raven energy coming in big. Oh, a Liberator on the left. He had the same idea, but he was not expecting turrets. Had to come around the back to make that work. Now, this Widow Mine does land a hit and also spots those units. Like I said earlier, I love those Widow Mines that have been guarding the ramps all game long. Hero Marine's actually won the last few fights pretty damn well. You can see, even though Clem was ahead for a bit, he's now behind in the units, lost a little bit. But it seems like even though Hero Marine's winning fight after fight with the Raven efficiency, he even gets a command center. That's a command center that was trying to take one of his bases. That's Clem expanding at a rate which he can't handle. So Clem is still up 20 work. He's on 85 SCVs. He's up on 6 bases. Hero Marine's barely on 4. He's just landed a 5th base again. He's given up on that base because there's not too many minerals left. I actually feel like Hero Marine here, yes, you're getting more and more efficient, but you've got to be careful that you don't just get drowned. If you can't slow down the mining on one of these 2 edge bases, it feels like Clem is just going to start to outmine you. And I think Clem here actually realizing he has too many SCVs. There's not enough minerals left on the map for him to mine from. So he's going to throw a few of these SCVs away just to clear up supply for more army. Not a bad decision. Hey, he might even get a sensor tower. That's a 200 gas investment. The SCV frantically trying to repair it. Oh, it goes down. Killer SCVs. Don't see them take out a building very often, but well done. And both sides posturing around right now. Hero Marine, I think, had an advantage earlier in this game, but just keep in mind, he's only got 2 tanks right now. Oh my, only 2 tanks? Oh, Hero Marine, what? Where is his tank count? So the idea of this is your Ravens can lock down the enemy tanks. As long as you have a superior Marine count, you can kind of just stim in and break a position if you can land those interference matrices. But there's a lot of Libs and Vikings. So Clem's actually going to smash the Vikings and the Ravens very quickly in the air. And with not many tanks out, Hero Marine does start to build a few more. Ooh, he was thinking about stimming on this. Hero Marine's getting a bit antsy. You can tell he kind of wants to use that overwhelming Marine count to just smash through, but Clem's not really giving him that opening. His base is just untouched. Whereas I feel like Hero Marine's been the one multiple times to lose expansions in this game. Oh, interference matrix is coming down. Anti-armor missile as well. A giant arc of Marines here from Hero Marine smashing through, but the tanks now start to let their thoughts be heard here. Auto turrets go down. A few interference matrices, but those still 2 tanks in the back doing massive damage. A tank on the right as well came in and actually had a big impact on this fight. A lot of Ravens died. A lot of Ravens went down. It looked like Hero Marine was about to crack him, but those siege tanks in the rear with the gear actually come out in a big way. Those tanks do go down, but at the end of that, it feels like a lot of Ravens have died. 15 Ravens have died in this game for Hero Marine, losing a medevac there as well. He's going to build more Ravens, more Marines, a tank. He's building some Vikings as well. Doesn't want to give up the Viking control, because we see what happens. As long as Clem has Vikings doing damage during a whole fight like that, Hero Marine's losing super high value units in those Ravens going down. That being said, units lost tab, you can see getting better for Hero Marine time and again. If he can find a push angle, that would be awesome. And it looks like the top left is his answer. I feel like Clem here has just not really had the best answer to the Ravens. I mean, he's getting +2 ship weapons and +3 armor, while there's no armor upgrades for the flying units or the tanks of Hero Marine. So, I mean, the upgrades are way better for Clem, and he's definitely got those Liberators, but he hasn't really been able to use the Liberators the way he would want. Now, Hero Marine's going to push through. He's going to lose a lot of Marines to this planetary fortress. The mass repair is going to hold on for a little bit. It gets 11 kills, 12 Marine kills before it goes down, so a bit of a sacrifice for that, but it's a planetary. It's probably worth it. Now, Clem actually trying to corner his army. What is this maneuver from Clem? Clem says, okay, you can take out my base, but you can't leave, dickhead. He's going to come around here and say, you can't retreat from this position. What a clever movement from Clem. He's both cutting off this base, which is an orbital, it's not a planetary, and at the same time, okay, so Hero Marine feels like he's got to fight this, but wait, what is this engage? He's going to use interference matrix on 4 of the tanks. The Marines come in. Hero Marine comes in from behind as well. He gets a beautiful surround on this army, taking out all of the siege tanks. Wow, and you know what? Those Marines didn't go in the mineral line. If Clem was in the mineral line that whole time with those Marines, he could have killed every SCV on that base, but all he ended up doing was bruising the orbital. A missed opportunity for Clem. What looked like a brilliant way of pinning Hero Marine in a choke point and hitting his base at the same time actually exposed Clem to getting surrounded. Those interference matrices took out all of his tanks, and I feel like Hero Marine just took another fantastic fight. As long as, yeah, he's got tanks up, so he's going to try and defend that base while continuing to push to the right. Oh, look at this. Marines coming in. They catch the SCV rally. He's going to catch a few orbitals. Now, there are some tanks sieged up in the middle as well as some Marines. Hero Marine takes another great fight here, but his base on the left gets overwhelmed. Vikings and Liberators just jump on top. That base is going down the middle of the map. Hero Marine grabbing a few of these siege tanks. So nice control by Hero Marine. And that will at least keep Clem in position. Those Marines go down. That base falls. But some of the SCVs do get out of there. Does take out this base, but there's no minerals left there. And that base survives where very valuable minerals are. So Hero Marine often taking out something. But I worry that this is mining, as is that. Now for Hero Marine, remember, he lost these minerals earlier, and now he's completely lost one of those important bases, so he's taking better fights, but he's down in army. Clem is just hanging on. He's using that superior economy all game long. Whenever he can't fight Hero Marine front on, he goes around and hits the economy, and he somehow just has such a good ability to hang on to these corner bases. Hero Marine is going to try and push through. That's a lot of tanks and libs, though. I don't know if this is the right call from Hero Marine. Marines and tanks come in from the right as well. Oh, I think Clem may be able to defend. Can he actually get on top of this? Those tanks siege up. Hero Marine maintaining position, and he actually clears up the left. The right goes to Clem, but Clem will not be able to move those tanks forward, and this base is toast. Oh, it was a dangerous maneuver from Hero Marine. I thought it might backfire. Actually, Vikings land on the tanks. Oh, but the Marines come forward. Hero Marine's got to focus down those Vikings. Can he get rid of this? If he can win this fight and get rid of all of these workers, but he can't. Wow, Clem barely hanging onto that base. This base in the top left is Clem's entire advantage, and if he can hang on to it, it is a game-winning maneuver. But right now, Hero Marine's still got more stuff. If he can break this base, get rid of the SCVs, I do think he wins. Vikings here, still microed so well by Clem, taking pot shots. He's going to jump on top of that siege tank as well. The Viking here still looking for pickoffs wherever he can, but I think now with that tank there and the Marines, the auto turrets zoning out, can you break that as Clem? I'm not sure if you can. He's slowly moving tanks forward. Oh, he catches Hero Marine's rally. He catches Hero Marine's rally. A costly mistake there for Hero Marine, who's losing that siege tank as well. A lot of units going down for Hero Marine, but he gets the orbital and he gets every SCV. So Hero Marine pays a hefty price for this, but by golly, does he just smash Clem's economy. Is it enough, though? Losing all those units. Clem cleaned that up so damn efficiently. And, oh my god, like, the army versus army trade was spectacular. Clem's now at double the army. What mining does Hero Marine have left? Hero Marine took that base out, but remember, as I said, he's still got this base on the right. There's still a few thousand minerals there, a tiny bit mining there. And Clem is actually outproducing Hero Marine right now. So Hero Marine is about 25 army supply behind. Remember that he does not have all those armor upgrades. He's only got +1 attack on his Vikings versus +2, +3. And that is a massive upgrade advantage for Clem's air units. It's given him great value throughout this game. Even though overall he's been less efficient, he's hung onto bases for longer. Now, this base has so many minerals on it because it keeps getting denied. If Hero Marine can get this base up, he will have more mining in the long run than Clem, but that's a big if because that's a lot of siege tanks, and I think he's just got to run that base. That base is toast. It's going down. Oh, no. I mean, he's got more orbitals. He can always float a new one over. Just doesn't want to lose all those SCVs. Hero Marine's going to try and go around the right. Maybe catch these tanks if they unsiege. There's only one medevac healing these Marines right now, though. What do we got? 4 Ravens and just mass Marines. So really playing the Raven style. Hero Marine saying, look, I'll counter your tanks with my Ravens, and then I'll just have enough Marines to just overwhelm everything else. And that kind of doesn't care too much about the Viking Lib upgrade. So it's a good style if he can get the interference matrices on the tanks. But notice how Clem is always way in front of his siege tanks. So if the Ravens come forward, he's going to gun them down before they get the siege tanks. He's got to focus them. He's going to focus the Ravens. Clem, he gets almost all of the Ravens. Only one interference matrix gets down. And Clem with the focus fire takes out the Ravens before they can land the spells. The new Hero Marine needed to land those interference matrices to win that fight. And he hangs on like a boss. Clem takes game 1, claws his way back into that game. All right. Let's go straight into map number 2. It is going to be Romanticide, and a really good callback there. Definitely on the defensive for large portions of that game, but a few really good backstabs just did crucial damage and got him back into that one, and really good usage of the Viking Lib Sky Control. An amazing ability to just constantly smash those Ravens down. Even when he lost a fight, the Ravens would always die. He'd always make his opponent pay that tax. Down here in the bottom right, it's Team Liquid's Clem. And up here in the top left-hand side of the map, representing Mouse Esports, Good game one, but not quite enough to seal the deal. It's Mouse Esports Hero Marine. It's going to be a Barracks gas opening here for Hero Marine into an expand. So he's going to go straight for an expansion, which is very cool. No second gas yet, whereas Clem opening very similar to that first map has gone for the same Barracks timing. So it's Barracks into a gas, into a second gas. Almost immediately, that second gas, of course, going down about 17, 18 supply, about 55 seconds into the game. And it's going to get him a very quick factory down. You can see immediately building a depot. Now, you don't actually need the depot that early, but Clem just building it just to make sure if a scout comes across the map, it can't get into his base. Orbital and a Reaper on the way. On the other side of the map, of course, Hero Marine going to be going for a much more normie expand. So he's just going to drop that command center down there. And just after he drops that, you're going to see he scouts in. He says, okay, no command center for you. Comes up into the main, sees, okay, you've walled off, which means it's a double gas build. Probably just a quick factory. Technically, you could be proxying, but it's pretty rare. Could be a 2 barracks build as well. Either way, you're going to have more units than me early, more tech units. I'm going to have to be nice and safe. And I wonder if Hero Marine invests in an early bunker at the front, or what sort of safety precautions he adds in here. You're going to see a factory go down in a moment. And there we go. Nice early factory. SCV comes home. Reaper hanging at the front of the base. Remember, Clem did an SCV scout. So he saw the SCV scout of the opponent, which could mean an expansion. But we know Hero Marine mixes it up. Sometimes he's doing a double gas opening just like Clem, and he will still send an SCV scout across the map. So Clem doesn't really have the information. He's just kind of following his standard game plan. Now, last map, he was very defensive with the Reaper Hellion. I wonder if he's going to be a bit more aggressive here on Romanticide. You'd want to be, since your opponent isn't going to have as many units as you. And it is going to be just a bunker there. So Hero Marine probably put 2 Marines in the bunker and then put everything else on the high ground just to stop the 2 Reapers from jumping up. And there we go, 2 Hellion Reaper. But no, Clem is being very defensive with it. Okay, so he's just being super chill. He's going to go the Widow Mine and just going to wait for that medevac probably before doing, I would imagine, the same drop that Hero Marine did in that last game. Actually, he went for a Banshee last game. But yeah, maybe I'll go for the medevac drop this time. Hero Marine, of course, having the later expand, more likely to just go for a quick Cyclone and really just turtle up. So he gets a Hellion out to support. So yeah, 2 Marines in the front, a Reaper, a Marine, and a Hellion on the high ground. And then he's going to, the Reactor, he's going to go Marines, Cyclone, gets that gas on the natural. You'll notice it's not ready when the command center finishes, but that's because this is such a fast expand. You actually can't afford the gas that early. You can see Clem here getting his gas down. Not actually that fast on the gas for Clem, interestingly enough. Normally that finishes around the time the command center does. This one's about 10 seconds later than normal. And yeah, you can see a medevac and the units grouping up. So no Banshee this time for Clem. And he's going to send that a Hellion, a Widow Mine. Oh, no Hellion? Oh, he wants to go the Marines. Okay, so he's going to leave the Hellion for defense, I guess. There we go. He's going to boost across the map with that drop. Looks like he's also heading for the natural the same way Hero Marine did in that last game. Feels like everyone always has the main covered. It's the back of the natural where you can kind of get in, kill a few SCVs, get out. It's a lower reward usually. There's not as many SCVs, not as much for disruption, but it just tends to be the lesser defended area. So it's almost like an agreement where it's like, well, I've got to protect my main because that's important. If you get in here and deny a whole bases of mining, that's massive. And, oh, the tank though. That early tank that Hero Marine favors so much, man. He actually went tank before Cyclone, and I think it's a really good adjustment against Clem. I think it got him ahead in game 1. I think it's going to get him ahead in game 2 as well. Perfect defense. He takes 0 damage. And there's a Viking he added in as well just to chase this medevac down. He's got a boost. It's not ready. Boost, 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 boost. Okay, he barely gets it. Unloads the Marines and boosts out of there. But man, look at that. The opening pressure for Clem has basically just been stopped in its tracks. You really should just go home and repair that. You could try to poke in one more time, but it's going to be incredibly dangerous. So you can see he's not loading into that medevac. He's just hanging at the front of the base for now. And Hero Marine here with a quick third command center behind it. It feels like he's already had a smoother opening and is a little bit ahead in this game. Oh, doesn't quite get to finish firing on that Reaper. Hellion up here does find the 2 Reapers. The Reapers, of course, will win that fight, but a Hellion slightly faster. Just under 6 movement speed versus 5 1/4. 5.25 for the Reapers. Second Raven on the way for Clem, who's going up into 3 barracks. So it's going to be bio once again. No mech play just yet from either player. The second and third barracks, of course, up for Hero Marine as well. Just slightly faster, as are the engineering bays. So similar to that first map, it feels like Hero Marine's just a little ahead. Comes in with their Reaper, snipes the SCV, building the command center. One of the most annoying things to deal with. And a nice depot raise to block that Reaper from running circles. Finally cleans it up. But a valuable scout for Hero Marine, who sees that third CC, sees the Ravens and the tanks. Doesn't actually confirm that it's bioplay just yet. But he will find that out in the near future. This one Widowmine's like, please, please guys, walk into me. I'm just waiting to fire. I do like that it's like got a flashing light on it. It's like, yes, I'm very secretive. It's like this. Very secretive. What's this weird trapdoor looking thing with a flashing light on it? Ooh, does take it out before it can fire. The Raven being helpful there. Clem looking to kind of backstab though. That's 4 siege tanks, dude. Oh, does get some nice damage on that tank. Gets it down to half-life. No medevac to pick up and break the lock-ons this time. So Clem being very annoying there and saying, yeah, you can't come across the map just yet. And he's going to try and deny Hero Marine from taking that third for as long as possible, just forcing Hero Marine to kind of inch his tanks forward. Meanwhile, Clem does already land his third, but he hasn't turned it into an orbital yet. He's still very bare bones on the income. But he's got his upgrade started, double engineering bays, the command center turning into an orbital now. Looks like he did lose one of his Reapers, just being as annoying as he possibly can, but trying to not get hit by the tanks. And both sides building up. Hero Marine only a 2 SCV lead, but up a little bit of supply. Only 1 Raven for Hero Marine versus 2 for Clem. It's going to give a bit more utility to Clem in the next stage. And the 4th and 5th barracks already on the way. Hero Marine just a bit more minerals. He's been mining more for longer. He's maintaining that small advantage. He's clearing up the map a little bit now with some Marines. A drop's going across the left, but it might get spotted by those Marines. Looks like it'll go just south of them. And Hero Marine's going to start poking out, but it's like a real safe poke out. It's like stim Marines, so these can just pick up, boost away at any moment, while all of his tank defenses, all that sort of stuff is at home. There's a turret there, well placed for Hero Marine. I actually prefer to put it there because there's so much dead space. This could go right around, but oh, Clem cues right into the turret. Oh no, a big mistake. He takes massive damage on that, and I would just leave. He's going to go into the main anyway. It's a high-risk maneuver. Feels like Hero Marine didn't notice. He's busy chasing the Cyclone in the top of the map. And a little bit slow to respond. The Marine drop. Oh, is he going to go for shields? He goes for the combat shields. And he's going to get it. Nicely done. Delays Hero Marine's combat shields. Maybe not the most impactful thing if there isn't a fight in the next couple of minutes. But just an annoying pickoff. And oh, man. How does Clem get these drops out, dude? Where's the Viking? It's there. So it's not going to be able to intercept that. And his drop should get out. Wait a second. No, it won't. Hero Marine moves his spotting Marines over. Ah, well done. Well done by Hero Marine. Manages to snag the drop. And dude, both players only doing small pokes and prods at each other and just really focusing on this just immaculate setup. I mean, it seems like they're just kind of sitting back, but there's so many details to it. Just getting your 2-2 started as soon as that armory finishes. Getting the vehicle upgrades, which are going to allow you to shred the enemy Marines and tanks that much faster. You've got the second factories on the way very quickly for both players. You can see they're both kind of following this logical progression that they tend to love. And these Marines moving forward. They're going to clear up the map. I like this, sending these drops around because it clears up all these little spotting Marines. The whole point of these Marines is just to give you a bit of map vision, see the enemy army if they're coming. You can't have sensor towers everywhere, and you need to know where your opponent's army is in this matchup. A couple Marines walk in. So Hero Marine's losing a lot of these scouts. Yeah, I like the way Clem's escalated this war for map control. Hero Marine's still got single Marines or pairs walking around everywhere, but now he has to get forced to escalate himself because Clem has these little squads of Marines and even this double drop going around. Hero Marine has to send a big pack of Marines out to win that. So often you'll see this like mini game where players send 1 Marine out to clear the map. The other guy sends 2 Marines, little squads. The other guy sends 3 or 4 Marines. And then the other guy's like, well, fuck it. I'll just send a full medevac of Marines around to kill all your spotters. And at some point, someone gets pissed off and literally just grabs all their Marines with their medevacs and throws them around. And that combat shields will finish up in a sec, so it's good to see that recovery. Oh, Clem's going to push through the middle of the map. A great tank line, though. Viking count does go to Clem. We talked about that being a big part of his advantage in Game 1. Can he use it to his advantage here in Game 2 as well? Oh, he almost kills the Raven before the fight even starts. It looks like Hero Marine's just going to bring those Marines back. Would have been cool to see him go for a big, crazy drop or something like that. Just dive into the natural. Drop on top of one of the missile turrets or something. Of course, remember the sensor tower does see where those units are. So really good sensor tower coverage here for Hero Marine. He's going to start to move some tanks over to the right. Clem, though, not really interested in trying to seal the deal. He's just dropping a 4th command center behind this. He's going for an extra 5th command center. 5th and 6th command center, I should say. That's really nice. Now, interestingly, no +2 vehicle weapons straight into the air upgrade. So Hero Marine, I think, recognizing that losing that air control was actually a big kind of problem for him in those Viking wars that allowed Clem to be so much more efficient. You can see here Clem thinking about pushing forward, but the tanks are sieged. Oh, but it's all a trick. That was all a distraction. Oh, Raven comes up, locks down the tanks, and the Marines just click right on that command center. Oh, and then he can turn on the Marines. Interference matrix, anti-armor missile goes down. He wins that fight as well. Hero Marine is losing his command center. He's losing his tank. He's losing all his Marines. That other tank, maybe just enough to defend this, but I think a pretty good trade for Clem getting rid of that command center. He's going to pick up, save a few of these Marines in the main. At the same time, he wants to push forward on the front. He's trying to be annoying in the main, but looks like all those medevacs will go down. The turret's taking them all out. Does he find an angle on the front? Oh, he only had 1 interference matrix that he used initially. And he does shut down that other tank, actually. Should be able to win that fight as well. The interference matrix allowing him to gain position, taking out a tank, a couple of tanks, a sensor tower. He kills the only Raven of Hero Marine. But I think Hero Marine has enough Vikings, 8 versus 5, that the tanks aren't quite able to get in range of the planetary. They got close, but no cigar, not quite close enough. And the Viking trade's very good there for Hero Marine. Units lost overall, though. Definitely better for Clem, having killed the command center. Hero Marine, though, replaces it immediately. He's got a few extra. They both have many command centers in this game. You can see up there, 4 command centers versus 3, 3 orbitals versus 3. So a 1 command center advantage for Clem. Oh, Marines coming in for Hero Marine. A little slow to stim there. He does finally stim, take out that tank. And just going to force some more units down here for Clem. Oh, he shouldn't be able to get that command center, but he can take out a few SCVs. Not bad here for Hero Marine. A few of his Marines do fall. Forces a bit of a reaction from Clem. And Clem here is actually going to be the one to go Ravens this time. So Clem changing it up. He's got Corvid Reactor, which gives the Ravens plus 25 energy when they spawn. That'll be finishing up for the next few Ravens. He's got his +3 bioweapons. No +3 attack or armor for Hero Marine. So both players are a little bit gas-starved there, needing more gas to come in. Building so many Vikings off 3 starports and tanks 2 at a time. Actually just choose through your gas like no tomorrow. But Clem here goes for +3 armor, gets his +2 vehicle plating as well to beef up those tanks. He's going to maneuver on the top of the map. Hero Marine's only got 2 tanks here. This could get broken. Oh, he's going to try to move over, but Hero Marine losing vision of where this is. He's just going to abandon it. He's going to pull the command center back. He doesn't want to lose that. Hero Marine, oh, can he keep the command center alive? So many Marines coming forward for Clem. Hero Marine takes a few shots, but he saves the command center, pulls back. But losing position, that's frustrating. Clem keeping him pinned on 4 bases. This is the same problem that he had on Oxide, was Clem expanding at a faster rate than him. Clem's got a 5th base up in the bottom, and look, he's already thinking about taking that top base as well. He's got all these command centers going down, and he leaves 1 tank there just as a bit of a distraction. Hero Marine doesn't realize, dude, his whole army's rotated to left. Hero Marine way too slow to respond to that, and once again, Clem is just going to push through, take that siege tank out. Yeah, gets a few shots off, but that's not enough. If Clem can cover this ramp, it's really hard for Hero Marine to get down there. A lot of the tanks are on siege. Hero Marine's thinking about going for it. I don't know if that's going to work. It's only Marines. Hero Marine takes a disastrous trade. Clem gets his tank sieged up in time. Where are Hero Marine's siege tanks? He's on 6 tanks versus 15. The tank count for Clem is absolutely ridiculous. Now, there are a few Liberators in there that can allow Hero Marine to kill the tanks, but he needs his own siege tanks up close underneath to stop the enemy Marines just stimming forward and taking them out. The Liberator Viking advantage only is super useful if you've got tanks to cover it. And right now, Hero Marine does not have very many siege tanks. And oh, we can't afford to lose that base. That's a lot of Ravens. That's a lot of Ravens. Yeah, he just uses interference matrices. He's just going to stim on top. Yes, the planetary is powerful, but look at that. The auto turret's going to take out every single siege tank along with the lib. The tanks are siege there in range. That planetary, he can't afford to lose that right now. He doesn't repair. He could have repaired that for sure and kept that. But Hero Marine is running around chasing his own tail. Clem is running circles around him, and that's going to be an expensive trade. A wall of auto turrets and 2 tanks shelling down a lot of those Marines. Hero Marine finally breaks the position, but not before losing the command center. And once again, knocked back to 4 base against an 87 worker Clem, who continues to attack from all sides to expand in all directions. He's got the middle base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases Clem is going to. He accidentally is flying that command center away from the base. That's a mistake. He just set his rally point from all of his command centers to this new base without that one being landed. That's the classic mistake there, is using the control group and not realizing you've just moved your base that was meant to go land. You've given it a move command just by right-clicking. Those tanks do a bit of a siege, take out some of those static defenses, and then pull back up here on the right. It's a marine advantage right now for Clem. And he's got a big, scary army. Those interference matrices can just remove the tank advantage. This is the opposite situation of game 1. Way better air upgrades for Hero Marine are on the way, but they're not ready just yet. And he needs those tanks to make a good account of themselves. He's got to land his Vikings, use his libs, but it's not enough to hold on. The Marine arc there was just way too good. And Clem just blitzes his way through to a 2-0 advantage. And here we go with map number 3. Looking for the clean sweep of his opponent. A dominant performance so far. In the bottom right, it is Team Liquid's Clem. As we said at the start of the series, he has an 8 out of 10 record against Hero Marine in their last 10 matchups, 10 head-to-heads. And it's a pretty dominating advantage, and it looks like he's going to be able to continue it here. Hard fought game 1. I think a little more dominant in map 2 there from Clem. But very big lead. And of course, a hard spot to be in as Big Gabe. Up here in the top left-hand side, he's got to win the next 3 in a row to win this Grand Finals. It is Hero Marine. That's such an awkward position to be in. I don't think the openings have been bad for Hero Marine. It just feels like Clem's movement, threatening the front constantly, even when he has no intention of pushing. He's always doing those forward siege ups. He's always interacting with Hero Marine, and it feels like he's very good at really distracting him on the front and then just kind of sliding a bunch of Marines or tanks around the back and doing big damage. And from there, once he gets a little bit of momentum, he just keeps moving. He keeps running circles. And he's going to open up aggressive again with the double gas opening, so quick attack here. Whilst it's that same build from last game, it's a 1-Rax expand for Hero Marine. He felt like it went pretty well in the last game. He's going to do it again, even though this is a bit of a smaller and more aggressive map. There is a jumping pad in the main. He's going to go for that. Comes in, sees the wall off. Just drops his command center. And that quick factory goes down. A minute 44. Wonder if Clem gets a little more aggressive with the early Hellion Reaper in this map. And I also wonder if Hero Marine feels greedy enough to even skip the bunker. As that is something where he didn't really need the bunker in the last game. I think it's something you should just always get. It times out. This SCV comes back to the natural. You can just put a bunker down after your factory and your second gas, and it's totally fine. And it looks like, there we go. He's going to drop that factory at 2 minutes 10. Should see that second gas go down in just a moment. Hero Marine, of course, queuing up more SCVs. Rallies that SCV out. Hits the gas geyser, waits for a second, gets 75 minerals, and then does drop that down. Bit of a Reaper skirmish in the middle of the map. Clem gets the worst end of that. Has to pull back. Ooh, he's building a third Reaper. Ooh, danger, danger, danger. Clem sensing victory within his grasp. He's gonna put pedal to the metal, and he is gonna fudge some stuff up. He's gonna go 3 Reapers. I think we'll see another Hellion after that. I think we're gonna see a big old attack. Yeah, quick starport, a second Hellion. He's already got that depot on the way, so he doesn't get supply blocked for 31. Not for too long, just a half a second or so as that depot finishes up. And do we even see a 4th Reaper, I wonder? We've got 3 Reapers. Will we see a 4th? How crazy are you? No, he's going to swap to Reactor after that, but 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion. It's going to be a hefty pressure. And I wonder if he just runs past the bunker, or do the Reapers jump up to the high ground and the Hellions run in the natural? How's he going to do this? He might just chill and wait for a medevac. Let's see. It's got to be a medevac, right? Could be a lib. It's got to be an aggressive unit, I would imagine. No, he's going to go Raven behind that. Okay, so Clem comes in. This is his first scouting. He sees the bunker, which it's got to make you feel pretty bad. He's going to try to get up on that high ground, man. He's going to use the Hellions on the low ground to try to cover it, but no, he's got to get out of there. Loses a Reaper. Easy defense for Hero Marine, man. 3 Reaper, 2 Hellions, a little bit better against someone who does a 2 Reaper, 1 Hellion opening while going for tech. You get a bit of a window to get in here, kill a few SCVs, but Hero Marine with that safe bunker. He's got a tank and a Viking as well. Like, this is just locked down. Behind this, Clem's going, okay, I'm going to go a tank and a Banshee, not a Raven, actually. Wow. So he's going to bring a bunch of units over. Is it multiple Banshees, multiple tanks? Looks like it is for now. Oh, Clem, can he get a Reaper back? No, he can't. Love to kill something. At least he's keeping Hero Marine scouting contained, but oh, Hero Marine just jumps on him. Oh, doesn't quite seal the deal on that Reaper. He's got to be a little careful. Oh, Hero Marine, he does lose a Reaper for a Reaper, so in the end, an even trade. And, oh, even just rallying the tanks across. Okay. All right. Clem wants to just kill. He wants to get in, maybe siege up the low ground and take off these add-ons or something like that. And that tank actually moving away from the high ground could open up an opportunity. The other one we always see is people sieging a tank there to deny these two mineral patches. But Hero Marine, look at that. He's actually sieged up in a great defensive position. That bunker's going to buy him a lot of time. And that siege tank there making it very hard. Clem tries to spot the bunker, but he loses his Reaper. Well-positioned tank for Hero Marine. Now the Banshee comes in. It runs in to the Viking. Oh, no. That's so bad for Clem. Look at this. Hero Marine's just shutting this down, dude. And he moves his tank forward, realizing Clem didn't have vision. Gets the first tank on it. Just walks his Marines forward. Shuts down the Marines. Now his Viking has control of the skies. And he takes that out as well. Hero Marine just crushing the early aggression of Clem. Clem's bringing a few Vikings across here. He's maybe going to look for something else, but I mean, what's he got? Just tanks and Vikings. He's lost all of his Marines. He's going to start a third command center, but he's 5 workers behind, and he's a little slower to that next step, trying to build a second starport? What is this madness from Clem? He's going to try and do some sort of mass airplay. He's going to try and just wrestle air control off Big Gabe, and usually that's all about saying, look, I'll dominate the skies, and then leverage my siege tanks, right? You don't have enough scans, like we're going to be able to move forward steadily and siege you up. The problem is, Hero Marine's got actual Marine count, right? He's actually building Marines. Clem is not. He's got second and third barracks on the way. It's only a matter of time until Stim will be finished, until these reactors will start pumping vast amounts of Marines with Stim. And at that point, you're never going to be up on that same level. You probably have to go mech after this. If you go bio, your Stim is like 5 minutes behind theirs. So you've got to get momentum soon. And because he's already lost a few fights in this game, and he's lost them badly, remember, it's going to be hard. He's got to try to snap the Ravens before they can use any abilities. If he can focus them down really quickly, kind of catch Hero Marine off guard, maybe inch his tanks forward, he might be able to do something. The fact is, he's building 3 Vikings at a time, tanks, Marines one at a time. This is a crazy push. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think Clem realized he was behind, and he's like, screw it, let's go for something wild. Hero Marine has no idea about it just yet. Hero Marine does not really have any scouting, and he's built these Ravens. He's only got 3 Vikings versus 7, which is pretty bad. As these Vikings come forward, Hero Marine's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's pulling back. He might have to abandon this base. His Marines are out there. That's so many Vikings. He cannot fight that with his Vikings and Ravens. You see Clem there. He wants to snipe those Ravens so badly. Already gets a shot on that siege tank. Hero Marine, he's going to have to use scans for the spotting. The Marines get a bit of damage, but he does lose them. Hero Marine's got way more mining. Remember, Stim, 25, 35 seconds from finishing, plus 1, also 30 seconds from finishing, and Marines are being built at a much higher rate. If Hero Marine gets some sort of surround on these tanks with, like, Stim and whatnot, it's going to be amazing. Those Vikings, though, did he just get the Ravens? No, he didn't. Here come the Ravens from behind. A wild auto-turret flank, but, is it really worth it? I don't know, man. It doesn't do much for those Ravens. Both of them go down. I think Hero Marine getting a little bit too eager here. He's still got that Marine count. As long as he doesn't just walk those into the tanks, as long as he preserves the Marine count, I think he's fine. But, the air battle, man. Clem, with that vision advantage, gets that tank trade, gets the advantage there. The SCVs repairing, though, for Hero Marine are doing a good job. He's got all these SCVs here that he's just actively repairing with when he needs to. The Vikings have landed for Hero Marine. A good idea. He's going to send his Marines across the map. Now, that's a wise choice. If your opponent's relying on good tank trades, walk around, walk past the tanks. There is no rally. He's just building unupgraded Marines right now. The Marines find an undefended base. Clem tries to answer. He says, I got to get damage done. He lands the Vikings in the main and starts to do some big damage. But at the same time, these Marines stim forward for Hero Marine. Can Clem defend? Maybe. He's got a tank on the high ground, but he can't lose that command center. Back in the Marine stim forward. The Vikings getting shredded. Those Vikings needed to get out of there. They overstayed their welcome. Clem just lost most of that Viking advantage that he spent so long building up. He got a few SCVs, but that is not really enough. He's taken some damage at home, and his rally of tanks and Marines has been stalled out. And look at this. Oh, wow. Hero Marine actually just busts through the front as well. Sorry, I missed that one there. But so much fighting going on. I didn't think he was going to try and bust the front, but realizing he forced Clem to use all his reinforcements at home, Hero Marine grabs control, and now he just has a vastly superior setup. He's got 5 racks pumping Marines with Stim and shields. He's got his upgrades. Clem had a good SCV count, but he had jack all production and no upgrades for his Marines. He was so far behind there and could not break Hero Marine. Hero Marine gets a point on the board. All right. Up here in the top right of map number 4, he still just needs one more point to finish this series off. And I think with their track record, he's probably still feeling quite confident. I mean, that 2-0 start was a good one. That last map, though, his aggression was stopped in its tracks. Might need to go back to a bigger macro plan. It felt like he definitely was able to outplay Gabe in some of those situations in the first map and the second map. He's going to go for a gas first. A bit of a change up here for Clem. Often an expand build comes off that, or a super aggressive one-base build where your expansion is massively delayed. It's usually one of those two. It is Clem. Hero Marine in the bottom left, Barracks gas, and we'll see. Does he take a second gas right about now? 55 seconds. Looks like no, he's going to do the exact same expand build. He feels like it went really well. No, he does. Okay, he does drop that second gas just before 1 minute. On the other hand, Clem is going to go gas first, expand. So this could be getting an early reactor and building Hellions, swapping the factory onto it, or it could just be, you know, get your tech out early, build some Hellions and Marines, maybe a Widow Mine, and, you know, get a nice expansion. So I think Clem could do that. The other build that Clem loves off gas first, actually, it's a build order I've copied off him and I put into my Book of Filth, was the Marauder Hellion build order. So I actually, the one time I really just like, I actually copy a lot of Clem's builds because he does so many of them and he has for so long. But a really cool build order that he favored a lot in the earlier part of 2020 was he'd get 2 or 3 Marauders, about 6 Hellions, and he'd put those Marauders with concussive in a medevac. And what he'd do is he'd run in the front with the Hellions, he'd boost the medevac in and just drop. And the idea was any Cyclone or tank, he'd try to drop on top of it with the Marauders and just instantly tag it. So if a Cyclone would try to like lock onto a Marauder or the medevac and run away, he'd get a concussive shell grenade on it and then try to take it down. Really cool build order. I found when I tried to do it, I was always hitting way later than Clem. I just could not be as tight with my macro as him. And they often hit me with a bit of an aggression just as I was hitting them, and it turned into a shit show. So I tried it a bunch of times. I had a few games where I succeeded with it, but more games where it just turned into this really messy opening. And I feel like I had a pretty low conversion rate of actually winning from there. But I probably just need more repetitions of handling all the different scenarios you find yourselves in. But a cool build order, a nice reminder for me to start practicing that one on the ladder. We've got 2 Reapers and a Hellion on the way, straight into the reactor. I definitely like this opening from Hero Marine. Nice quick expand. So Hero Marine did not scout at all, while Clem did scout and can kind of assume what sort of opening it is. It's going to be the swap over, so the factory is going to go and start pumping out those Hellions. No quick third gas on the natural for Clem here, of course. Wouldn't be going down normally for another 20 seconds, even if he does want it. And that Reaper just chilling up in the main. So is it just 1 Reaper? Is that all he built? Just 1 Reaper. Yeah, I guess the Hellions pop so early with the gas first. That kind of secures your expand. Keeps you pretty safe. Technically, the 2 Reaper Hellion could have run in, maybe killed that SCV. But if they stay too long, your Hellions pop out, and then you can actually beat them. Because Hellions beat Reapers. So 2 Hellions and a Reaper. A little bit better than 2 Reapers and a Hellion. Hero Marine there with a nice Widow Mine for safety. Getting a medevac out, so it looks like he wants to do that Marine medevac drop. And he's been going tank first a lot. I feel like Cyclone is definitely the more flexible unit for holding off Banshees. I think it was the very first map of the Banshee did a lot of damage to him. But we'll see exactly what he has in store for us. And it's going to be a tank again. He loves that tank. Okay, Clem's doing it. Clem's doing it. Oh my god. Yes! Okay, he's doing the Marauder build now. His medevac's out super early. I feel like his Marauder was producing a little bit late. So that's actually slowing the build down a bit. A little bit of a mistake on the opening, honestly. Clem usually should be hitting this build about 4 minutes 20, 4 minutes 30 at the absolute latest, I feel. So I think he's going to be about 10 seconds later than normal. And at the same time, ships passing in the night. Oh, look at that. This drop's going to hit. That's queued into his natural. So they're both going to hit each other at almost identical time. There's a tank out, which is an amazing unit for killing Marauders. But if the Marauders can just take it down real quick, that could be a problem. So if Hero Marine loses that tank, it's big. He is going to siege up, so he might get some big splash damage. This drop's coming in. Hero Marine's going to be the first to enter the fray. Widow Mine drop goes in. At the same time, there we go. Those 2 Marauders already taking that siege tank down. Their Hellions blasting the SCVs. Oh, the Marauders need to focus fire, dude. He accidentally let another shot get off and lost his Marauder because of that. Clem with a bit of miss micro. Of course, he's frantically trying to defend at home at the same time, and he's got nothing. He's got nothing at home. Oh my god, I told you guys this game can get messy sometimes if they hit you at the same time as you hit them. It's SCVs trying to fight on their own right now. And look at that. He does save all those units, gets them out of the SCV surround. Auto turret goes down though, and Hero Marine, he's going to lose all of his units to that auto turret. Ooh, it looks like, okay, he does manage to defend, does Clem. Oh, the medevac, though, might be able to out-heal. It looks like, oh, Hero Marine with some sick micro wins that Marine fight. Meanwhile, though, Clem has evicted him from his natural expand. Hero Marine's lifted it. He's taken some damage. 13 SCVs have gone down on Hero Marine's side of the map. Not many have gone down on Clem's side, but remember that Clem had way less SCVs to begin with. This is a real committed build order. In total, 14 SCVs versus 13, actually. Sorry, so Clem did lose his just earlier, didn't he? So that's why it restarted the SCV kill counter over here as those Marines redrop. These units trying to buy some time, but there's a tank on the high ground that just got a shot off. The Cyclone goes down. The auto turret, maybe a little unnecessary there. Clem does save that Marauder from the Cyclone. Clem's going to back off and go home. Random SCV rocks up. Oh, Hero Marine's not done. He's being so annoying, dude. He's still flying around, being as annoying as he can, and these Marines doing some damage. So Hero Marine manages to weather the Marauder Alien. Clem manages to weather the Marine Reaper Widowmine drop. Both sides using all their Raven energy, and I don't know who's ahead after this. Hero Marine, I guess, is 2 SCVs and a little ahead in supply. The fact that this drop is still here is massive. This is really distracting Clem from macroing properly, from spending his money and getting his upgrades, and there's a Banshee to follow it up. So that's really nice because okay, there is a Viking out. That'll help Clem deal with this. He's now going to swap over for Viking production. He's building tanks. Meanwhile, on the other side, Hero Marine just building tanks and Ravens. So it's going to be 2 Ravens for Clem into that. Banshee comes on in. Oh, the Viking was up there. It's out of position because it was clearing that other thing up. It looks like a few units go down. I think Clem maybe killed his own Hellion there. I don't know what just happened. I think he just killed one of his own Hellions accidentally. This Viking, of course, going to go look around. But the Banshee for Hero Marine just says, let's go home. We know he's got a Viking. No reason to stay on that side of the map. And both sides are into double Viking production. It does look like Clem has the head start on that with his 2 Vikings popping out way earlier. And he already had 1 on the field. So Sky Control to Clem once again, something he really feels is the secret to beating Hero Marine. Hero Marine does have 1 more siege tank though. And probably a little bit more Raven energy potentially. Pretty similar on both sides. Marine spotters going out. Viking scouting. Both players just kind of checking to make sure they don't get hit by another counterattack. Cyclone on defense duty in the main. That much quicker 3rd command center for Hero Marine though. That's going to make a huge difference. Like, he's only up a few SCVs, but where's the 3rd command center for Clem? He's not missing a beat with his unit production. So he's saying, look, I'm going to delay it. Maybe he'll build it on location or something, but he's going to just commit to this hard push. He's going to try and leverage that Viking advantage. He's down 1 siege tank, but dude, this next fight's going to be big. Hero Marine sees it, though. He splits some Marines out front of the base. Clem's going to come forward now. He could get a siege up over here and maybe get in range of that starport. I don't know. Oh, he's got a medevac. He's going to try and elevate. Okay. Tanks are in range of the starport. You can't lose your starport. That would be huge if you lose that. Hero Marine Cyclone goes down. Those Marines doing nicely. Auto turrets spam down here. That's a lot of energy for Clem to burn, though, before the fight really happens. That being said, Hero Marine has to use them as well. Oh, Clem gets a siege tank with those Marines before they get out of there. Nicely done. And you, like I said, you do not want to lose that starport, guys. That's an expensive thing to lose. You do not want to lose that as Hero Marine. Anti-armor missile goes down, but not able to capitalize on it. Remember, the Viking advantage is still there for Clem and that starport, dude. Oh, he loses vision. The starport survives. If Hero Marine can clear this army, it'll be big for him. The tank's sieging, but I think a little too late. Sieging in the middle of the fight, never the best scenario. And those auto turrets, dude. The auto turrets on both sides doing well, but Hero Marines went down first, and he keeps all of his tanks alive. And that's always the one thing which tells you just effed your opponent up. If you keep all of your tanks alive and they lose almost all of theirs, that's really good for you. A Viking lands. Oh, he uses a scan to see beyond the grass. Nice turnaround there. Does trade a Viking for a siege tank kill, but Clem does have to back off now. So Clem, remember, way behind on the 3rd command center, down 4 SCVs. Hero Marine already floating out to his, and he's dropping 4 barracks all at once. He's got Stim finished. He can start his shields. Starport survived. Both of those add-ons survived. And it feels like Clem narrowly missed out on really fucking up Hero Marine. I think if he maintained vision and stayed sieged up, he would have been able to kill the starport and shell Hero Marine as he marched forward. I actually think Clem needed to either leave sooner and get out of there, or he needed to stay longer and just commit to the fight. He ended up taking the worst of both. So perfect timing on the breakout for Hero Marine, and unfortunate timing for Clem losing all those valuable units. Once again, though, a bit of an ambush for Clem. Oh, he does a really good job of that. He lands to avoid the air control, but the Viking land for Hero Marine might just be too much. That adds a lot of tankiness, a lot of anti-armored damage, and he takes out all of those units, man. Clem keeps trying to kind of ambush him on the map, get the jump on him, but Hero Marine's just got the numbers at this point. It feels like we're getting diminishing returns for Clem, who, even though the units lost tab is relatively similar, it's a bit better for Hero Marine, and he's just had more mining this whole time. Clem's going to try and recover in this game, but second and third barracks just getting reactors now. Meanwhile, Hero Marine, interestingly, oh, he's gas starved. He's building Marines out of no add-ons because he doesn't have the gas. He needs 200 gas to get all those reactors going. So he's just building 1 or 2 rounds of Marines, getting his 1-1 upgrade started first, and then in a moment, we'll see him start a bunch of reactors. There we go. Maybe cancel those Marines, get some more going. He's going to push forward. Tanks get a siege up between the rally. I wasn't really treating this push seriously, but Clem has bled out so many units. This might actually be huge. Oh, nice Viking land plus siege. Goodbye, Hero Marines. Viking count, good defense. But actually, Hero Marine says, nah, that ain't all, buddy. Oh, the Vikings are going to try and land and take out the tank position. A great break on the front. Clem smashes that push, but he does take economic damage. And remember, he was already behind economically. So Hero Marine here, even though he just threw away his siege tank advantage, and that kind of gives Clem some space. Clem's economy is not strong. It's fragile. It's incredibly weak. Doesn't have the gases up on his third yet. Where are his upgrades, by the way? So his 1-1 just started. 1-1 over a minute underway for Hero Marine. He's up to 3 reactors, a 4th on the way. He's already going up to 7 barracks as well. So he's going to have an overwhelming advantage on the Marine production. Clem, on the other hand, is going for a quick 4th command center. Dude, off almost no units, a quick 4th CC. He realizes after he held off that previous push that he can do some good stuff with that. Hero Marine's still posturing, but he's not really finding anything. I mean, this Viking got spotted, but Clem didn't react, actually. A little slow to react. The SCVs pull. The Viking only gets 1 SCV, so a good hold. And the Vikings are in position to stop, and he drops in the main. Clem, the way he is confidently just macroing up here, despite only having 3 tanks, a few Vikings, he's got 17 Marines with Jackal upgrades. Like, this is not a great situation to be in for Clem, but the fact that he has the balls to recognize, I killed 3 tanks and a few Vikings, take a 4th. Go double upgrades. Get all your add-ons. Get your barracks. It's amazing game sense for Clem, and it will give him the opportunity to get back in this game. You can't play scared when you're this far behind. You've got to be very confident, or you're just going to fall further behind, and that's exactly what Clem is doing. That's Hero Marine now wanting to exert himself. He's got his 4th base establishing. He sees that Clem's doing the same with those Marines, and I think he's going to try and punish him for that. So he loads up a double drop. He's going to try and go around the right of the map. Unfortunately, there's a Marine spotter there that should see him, and he might try and posture on the left with a handful of Marine tank. That's a very small army. He does have to be careful. Hero Marine there, spotted by those units. Clem doing a good job of getting up some map vision. Right now, it feels like if Hero Marine catches him off guard in just one area, the game will end very quickly. And yet he's unable to do it. We've got a tank there. The Marines stem forward. They run it away. They've got to respect that. I do like this forward Viking of Hero Marine. And, ooh, these Marines wanting to come forward. He's got to be so careful, though. The Vikings of Clem are in a good position. Oh, wow. A stim forward breaks the siege tank. And he's going to go for another tank. Hero Marine with a wild push forward. But he realizes if he gets rid of the tanks of Clem, he can probably take the planetary out. But then again, libs come forward, as do more Marines and tanks. Hero Marine, was this an overextension? It very well may have been. He's going to get routed there. Clem does lose a Liberator, but cleans it up. A landed Viking in the main, though, gets in there and gets a bunch of SCV kills. Drops come in as well, but Clem's Vikings there to answer. Quick reaction by Hero Marine, though. Evacuates and does get those units out. If he lost those double drops, I think Clem would be completely fine. As it is, though, look at the macro. Hero Marine is unstopping. He's on his 2-2's almost done. He's got vehicle plating, vehicle weapons, 2 tanks, mass Marine, all coming. The units, he took out the single tank on the 3rd base, and suddenly Clem doesn't have enough units there. Clem has to move most of his mobile units over, and that means the planetary on the left is exposed. Look at these Marines. They're such a distraction. Hero Marine darts in, takes out the tank, forces the mobile units to respond, and then he gets in between the reinforcements. Now, those tanks on the 3rd are going to get some good shots off, but where's the Marine support for Clem? He's just got so few units. He's so outnumbered, outgunned. And he tried to get back in this game, but Hero Marine did not give him the time. Hero Marine knew he had an advantage, and if he just kept pushing, he was going to find an angle. Hero Marine survives the Marauder Hellion and ties up the series. He takes us to map 5. All right, here we go. The final map. And man, this has got to be stressful. This man down here had a 2-0 lead and it has slipped away. He finds himself now on his final life, his third and final attempt to close the series out. In the bottom right, he's got to dig deep on Death Aura. It's Team Liquid's Clem. And up in the top left, representing Mouse Esports, none other than Big Gabe himself, live streaming this and just clawing his way back map after map. It is Hero Marine. Still think some dangerous signs from those earlier games. It did feel like Hero Marine got outplayed by Clem's ability to, number 1, control the skies, and number 2, to expand at a bigger rate than Hero Marine. Scare Hero Marine with frontal pushes and then just hit him with hard backstab. So I worry that Hero Marine might not be able to contest him at that stage. And I'll tell you, there's two very different things both players are feeling. After you have this sort of story, as someone who competed for many years myself, and I had a lot of reversal comebacks and that sort of thing, as well as other people reversal against me when I was up against them. When you're down 0-2 like that, and you start clawing your way back here with some rock-solid expand play, and it looks like he's doing the same build order again, you start to feel really good. You start to feel really solid. You get that momentum. It's within grasp, though, and this is where sometimes players get a little bit too excited. They start thinking too much about the outcome rather than just being in the moment, getting into that zone, getting into that flow state where they can just focus and play their best. On the other hand, likewise for Clem, this is where you can start being a little bit harsh on yourself. When you had the advantage and it slipped away, you can start to just be like, dude, if I lose here, this is going to be so embarrassing. Like, why did I do that build last game? Oh, man, why did I mess up that attack in the game before that? Why did I do that silly double starport build? Oh, god damn it. You could start being really harsh on yourself and also kind of pull yourself out of that correct mental state you need to perform properly. So I'm hoping Clem can just keep it together, focus hard, and give us a very good final game here, as can Big Gabe. I think either player could crumble and just fall apart. We often see this in a fifth game like this where the series has been so crazy, then you just like, one guy just punches the other guy in the nuts and bam, it's over. Well, the double gas opening here with the 220 expansion, 2 Reaper Hellion. Looks like no third Reaper, a quick starport coming down. Okay, very quick starport, cool. So we're going to see that reactor after the starport. Wants to get the quick medevac started, that's why that's being prioritized. Already has put 1 worker back on gas. And there we go. Back to 3 on each gas as well. Pulls a few off minerals there. Starts that supply depot. Really well-tailored build order. Bunker is up at the front for Hero Marine. 2 Marines in that. I used to always only put 1 Marine in this bunker in TvT. And then I realized whenever anyone did that against me, I'd run up with my Hellion Reaper. I would be taking almost no damage because it's 1 Marine with no stim. And I'd just run past the bunker and start killing SCVs with my like 2 Reapers and Hellion. I'd be like, well, this can't defend. And then when they try to run down the ramp, I can drop grenades on the ramp while picking off the SCVs. And it was a bad situation. So you've always got to get a couple of extra units out. And this is why, remember, it's Reaper, Marine, 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 only then Reactor, to make sure you get enough units to be safe. So that is how you do the nice safe opening here. I used to go to single Marine into Reactor. That was not a good way to do it. It's very greedy. So we've got a Viking and a tank coming out. This very safe setup for Hero Marine that he's been favoring. And remember, Clem's been overtly aggressive all series long. And I mean, people like Rotterdam, who's been following Clem for a long time, has always said, look, if there's one thing I can criticize about Clem, it's sometimes he just attacks and he doesn't think about it. It's his default mode. And if the opponent adjusts well and makes the right adaptations, sometimes his attacks just wash up on their defenses and don't do well. Ooh, Big Gabe sees it. And you can see the Hellion double back. So he confirmed where that medevac was. Now the Viking goes down here, but knowing Clem, does he realize the medevac's going to change paths? He goes forwards, he goes, And his Hellion's actually looking for it. Okay, yeah, okay. I think Clem finds his way in there. Well done by Clem. Looks like he's found his way into the base unspotted. Okay, these units going to be relatively quick to respond. Doesn't want to take too big of a Widowmine shot, though. Ooh, Widowmine actually unburrows, but then he focus fires it. Oh, Hero Marine doesn't focus fire it. No, he's going to take a big Widowmine shot. Loses a few units there. So that's actually a better trade for Clem so far. The Viking, a little bit slow to the party. Clem realizing he was on a timer, had to get out of there. and drops a much quicker third command center. So he's not going to continue to lean into the aggression. It's got his ass kicked in those previous 2 maps, was he just kept attacking and attacking, and every attack was worse and worse. Instead, it's much more contained. He's got a Raven going across to auto turret, Hellion and a Cyclone to just poke the front and catch any move outs. And look at that. He gets the SCV building the command center. He sees a tank, picks up before it can siege up fully. And he even drops just outside of the range, drops a Reaper, throws a grenade, and then picks up. If that is not just the most 17-year-old with hands that are way too fast style points maneuver, then I don't know what is. Oh, does take a few hits from the Viking, though. But the Cyclone comes forward with the Hellion. Could get a lock on the Raven. You got to be careful there as Hero Marine. Ooh, but the tank covers from the high ground, lands a shot. Well played by Hero Marine. Raven comes around the right as well. A quick third command center is, of course, on the way here for Hero Marine. Hero Marine has started this double barrack. So has Clem. It's a very close game, but Clem's not done attacking. The tank covering the natural. He gets 2 SCVs, but that's no big deal. Hero Marine just puts another SCV back on there. Usually you'd like to get a bit more mining time, at least maybe 3 or 4 SCV kills per auto turret, and you don't want to use too many. Notice that's flying away for 2 reasons. Number 1, he knows there's a Viking on the map. Number 2, if you use all your energy for harassment, when push comes to shove, they're just going to have more auto turrets than you. And look at this, 4 tank move out. Hero Marine's going to clear this base. Going to get the Cyclone. He'd love to kill that Cyclone. That's a valuable unit. It's an annoying unit for map control. But no, Hero Marine's just going to secure the 3rd base. Starts a 4th and 5th barracks here. His engineering bays are almost finished. Doesn't quite have the gas for 1-1 just yet. But he's going to float that 3rd out nice and early. Clem already having floated his base out. So a 3-worker lead here for Hero Marine, weathering that early storm. Units lost tab does go in favor of Clem. But of course, he committed more to get it. Looking at the unit count, you can see a tank advantage of 2 for Hero Marine. And both players having 2 Ravens. Maybe a little more energy for... No, about even. About even for both players. That drop goes down the left of the map. I love that Clem is always doing these little drops just looking for openings. Looks like Marine spotters around the base here. But look at this. Clem's still picking them off. He's just limiting the vision of Hero Marine. So Hero Marine doesn't know where things are going to come from. Just picking off free units, little Marines here and there. And this drop's actually going to go for the front of the base. Probably a wise decision. As we see, most players very good at setting up those Vikings on the most deadly drop angle. Did you see? Clem actually pulled a Marine in front there, so that if he walked into a siege tank, it would take fire. But having seen the enemy Marine spotter, he said, let's not show this just yet. Let's hide it. The Cyclone gets another couple of Marine kills. The Ravens came in, but they got spotted by the Marine. Clem says, okay, not worth it. Get out of there. We don't want to risk those getting caught by the enemy Vikings. Now, as the Vikings pull up to the right, do we see the drop pick up and go in? It looks like, no, this is all just map control pressure. I feel like it's like when you're watching a fighter kind of just paw at the other guy's hand, where he's not really punching him. He's just trying to like pull the other guy's arm down, find his range a little bit. And that's what Clem's so good at doing, where it feels like at any moment, if he sees an opening, he could turn it into a big swing. He could do 4 auto turrets in the mineral line and kill a bunch of SCVs. But as long as he sees that the other player's ready, he's just like, no, I'll just back off. I'm just going to keep you contained. And like, look at Hero Marine's map vision. We're on Hero Marine's camera. He can't see anything on this minimap. He's in his corner. Don't get me wrong. That's okay. He's not losing. He's got a good economy. He's building up. He's taking a 4th base. But just look at how hard it is for him to even get out of the map. Finally, he's got stim and he can do it. But he uses his stim and Clem just backs off. And now Clem has the freedom to move across the map and control it with this big Marine pressure. Both players going to 4th bases behind this. Very similar unit counts all around. A few more Marines for Clem. Whereas there is a big Viking advantage. So Hero Marine's playing air control, Viking Raven, whereas it's mass medevac for Clem. So Clem really wants to be heavy on the Marines and the map control. And you can actually see that. Why? Because his 2nd factory only started after he got 2 more barracks. Wait. That's only the 4th and 5th barracks? Holy crap. Clem's 4th and 5th barracks are like 3 minutes after Hero Marines. So Hero Marine actually cut Marine production a few times to get all of his macro set up, all of his production. But I thought this was a 6th and 7th barracks. It's a 4th and 5th. Clem delayed his for ages, but he didn't miss a beat on his Marine production. He didn't power at all. He didn't say, okay, skip a cycle of Marines so I get the barracks going. I'll make up for it later, which is more of what Hero Marine did. Hero Marine's kind of rushing to get the upgrades, the production, everything all centered and set up. Already going for 2 more starports to take control of the skies. Holy crap. I mean, he's already got that Viking advantage, but he wants to hang on to it, I guess, if Clem ever swaps into Viking production. Clem's still posturing around this map. Raven comes in on the left, doesn't really find anything. I think he could have dropped some auto turrets on that tank to clear it if he wanted to, but so far the defense is solid, and it looks like 1 Raven actually died. So maybe flew one into the Vikings or something like that. Oh, look at this. These armies still posturing. It doesn't look like either of them super ready to fight, but because he's got the Vikings, Hero Marine can always win a slow push. Ooh, anti-armor missile, and Clem's like, okay, no, we're not taking that fight. Pull back, pull back, pull back. Let that one wear off. For those who don't know, anti-armor missile -3 armor. So during that duration, it's like those Marines have an extra +3 attack on top of whatever their upgrades are, which is a crazy amount of extra damage. A crazy amount of extra damage. Hero Marine just trying to stay solid here. He's actually getting 3 tech labs. Oh, wow. Extra tech labs. So he's going to go into Ravens later. Looks like he's finally sliding his own pressure out at drop. Clem has been dominant in terms of map control so far. Marines and tanks on the left. Marines and tanks on the right. Both armies a little bit smaller. So Hero Marine could maybe just collapse on one side, crush it, then go deal with the other side. But it's going to allow Clem to potentially set up some ambushes, some siege, high ground positions, catch Hero Marine out of position, maybe lose one side but do critical economic damage on the other side. And this is always hard to deal with. Hero Marine moving to the left. He doesn't have much on the right. 2 tanks there going to get overwhelmed. Ah, Clem didn't have scan energy, so he didn't know if there was more tanks behind that. It was dangerous to commit further. And look at this. Hero Marine's going to go into the main base. Those Marines already cleared it up to make sure there were no spotting units. But, oh, he sits in vision. Does Clem notice? It's on his minimap. There's a red dot in his minimap, in his main. He hasn't noticed just yet. He's moving SCVs around. Now he sees it as it unloads. Both players a little bit slow to the jump there. Those Marines winning the fight for Clem up there to clear map vision. Hero Marine in the back of the base. The tank siege is up. But he only loses 1 Marine. He's going to rotate down. Wait a second. Clem, beautiful stutter step. Can he get that drop? Oh, and the tank siege is on the high ground as well. Look at that. The tank sieges. It's just going to gun them down as they unload. Hero Marine not watching that because he's a little busy on the map. The Viking Raven moved up on the right. Doesn't want to get those caught by the Marines. Does get to the safety of the siege tanks. And on the left side of the map, you can see that Hero Marine also ran into that army. Hero Marine, I mean, this has got to be so stressful playing against Clem. He just keeps you in your corner of the map. And mistakes start to happen. 2 medevacs going down there. Both players still have not really been in a big altercation. It's all been about chipping away at each other. Hero Marine, it's like, just let me move out and take a 5th. Let me establish control over my side of the map. And Clem's just trying to get him to make a mistake. Oh my god, that's a lot of interference matrices. The Ravens just fudged that army up. They just took that army straight to Taint Town. Holy crap, they skipped D-Town. They went straight to Taint Town. Oh my god, that was a beautiful engagement. As I said, the danger of just doing this 2-pronged push is he could just collapse on one side, bring in the right unit set, and just shut it down. And the interference matrix is against those exposed tanks with no Viking advantage overhead. That was definitely a good trade. And finally, I think Hero Marine there, yeah, he was behind in units, lost most of this game. Now he is significantly ahead there. Still no gigantic army fight, but the tank advantage is there for Hero Marine. Oh, Hero Marine, you gotta save those tanks. Get out of there, buddy. Oh, a lot of his tanks going down. Nice anti-armor missile, though. Does force those Marines to withdraw. But now Clem's in between his bases. Clem here with a beautiful push. Oh, Clem opening up an angle that I don't think ever should have been available to him. He's going to stim forward one more time. Hero Marine forced to stim in, but those tanks scaring him backwards. And Hero Marine's tank count, I mean, I said he was ahead on tanks. Now it's gone. His tank count just got blasted out of this world. Hero Marine is going to have to give up that 5th base. He's got to be careful. He can't keep walking into these tanks. Hero Marine is bleeding out units. He does not want to give up the 5th, but he's got to make that decision. If he doesn't make that decision soon and keeps bleeding units into this, he is going to fall way behind in this game. But there we go. Okay, he lifts the base. He gives it up. He's going to just inch a tank forward, pick off one of these siege tanks of Clem. Well done. That's good. It felt like Hero Marine was going to get too focused on trying to defend a base, but when he's sieged between you and your expansion, that is no longer your territory. You've got to give it up. Here we go, though. Interference matrices again, allowing his tanks to siege up. He's going to take out all the tanks, and ooh, anti-armor missiles, bloody good, dude. Holy crap. But Clem answers in kind. Auto turret, tank, Marine, stim forward. These 2 tanks sieging in the back, though. Hero Marine, can he stabilize? I think he can. Hero Marine hangs on, clears that up. Yes, he loses 10 SCVs, but he had the economy to do it. The Vikings clean up that side as well. Hero Marine knuckling down and hanging on. Clem, though, comes forward with that drop, lands on attack, tank, picks it off, picks off a lib, picks off a few more of these flying units. He's still got these tanks. He's setting up these scrappy engagements on both sides. Hero Marine re-lands the 5th, starts erecting a planetary. He's like, fuck you, this is my territory, mate. And he realizes that Clem is way too far forward with too few units. Remember, that Viking advantage has never disappeared for Hero Marine. Clem is playing Medevac Marine Raven. He does not have the air control. He's going to lose all the Ravens in this fight, but not before they drop a lot of auto turrets. And it's actually Hero Marine who overextends. Clem turns it around with the auto turrets. He pays a hefty price in Ravens for it, but he gets rid of so many of Hero Marine's valuable units. And now, as the dust settles, look at what Clem's done behind this. He's taken a 6th base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base. Yeah, he's taken both edges of the map. He's got so many command centers. He's floating to take a 7th base. This is what Clem did immaculately. This is how he beat Hero Marine in game 1. It's how he overwhelmed him in map 2 as well. And as I said, there seems to be a weakness in late game. Hero Marine just can't keep up. Clem's ability to just push forward, whether he's using multiple angles or a single frontal push, it always feels like they trade engagements pretty evenly. But at the end of it, Clem has an extra expansion and an extra 20 SCVs. And that's exactly what's happened one more time. Auto turrets plus interference matrix. The siege up is brutal. The Liberator goes down. And even though the Vikings do take out a lot of these air units, I think the tanks should still win. Oh, 2 of the tanks are shooting the planetary. Clem fucked up his micro. I could not understand how those Marines were standing. 2 or 3 of the tanks were shooting the planetary for that whole engage. It was being repaired as well. You've got to retarget those tanks manually on the fighting units, or they will just shoot the closest thing that could fight. And that was the planetary. A big messed up engagement there. I think he should have kept control of that area. I think Clem just missed an opportunity there, but he's still way up in supply. He's got 20 more workers. And he's still pushing both sides. He's got that 7th base erected here on the left. Planetary slowly rising up. Army on the right as well. He's using that mobility. +3 vehicle weapons on the way will give him an upgrade advantage as Hero Marine starts the ship and vehicle plating upgrades. So he's going to start getting the armor. Neither side has got a second armory in this game just yet. And what is it? 4 starports versus 5. 4 for Clem, 5 for Hero Marine. Both players still have a giant army and a pretty good economy. But we've got a 5-base Hero Marine up against a 7-base Clem. Clem is simply bigger. He has more economy to draw on. His bank is already starting to build while Hero Marine is not even maxed out. Oh no, Clem! Clem flying Ravens, trying to rotate through the middle of the map. 5 Ravens. I think he just wanted to send those to the left. He just thought that Hero Marine was a bit more turtled up. Hero Marine happens to stumble on them in the middle of the map and says, yes, please, I will kill 5 high-energy Ravens. A massive mess up from Clem, who now, I mean, he throws some interference matrices. More energy goes down the drain because he doesn't have enough units to break that position. And remember, Viking control, even though it's only 3 Viking controls there. And Hero Marine says, let's go, dickhead. Anti-armor missile comes down. The tank's forced to siege. But Hero Marine's tank's a little too far behind. He does have to pull back. Actually, he unsieges his own tanks. But anti-armor missile advantage goes to Hero Marine, remember. So Hero Marine there pushing forward. Uh-oh, a drop gets in the back. Does get shut down. I think it might have been a double drop indeed, but there's a lot of missile turrets there. He does take out some stuff. Anti-armor, interference matrix, combo going down. Auto turrets to tank the Marine stimming forward. Oh, just way too many interference matrices. Hero Marine, he says after getting the Raven advantage, I'm going to use it right here, right now. Clears out all of Clem's siege tanks. And Clem, well, you better start using that bank, mate, because you're about to lose your 7th base. He says, don't worry, I'm taking a new one on the left side of the map. I think what's more important right now for Clem is to keep backstabbing and just regrow his army. But look at this. Hero Marine finds 2 tanks there. Oh, the Marines will come back and get him, though. Save those siege tanks. Well done there. Clem losing a few SCVs, but he's got plenty to spare. The Marines come down for Hero Marine. A bit of a wild engage. Does take some big tank shots to the face, and building armor is on the way. He's already got high-sec auto tracking, does Clem. He's adding building armor as well, which is going to make his planetaries, his turrets, the sensor towers even more tanky. Great choice of upgrades there. Tank count massively in Hero Marine's favor right now. 17 tanks, 5 Vikings, and he's still just trying to play Ravens. I don't think that's going to work. I think this might be too many siege tanks for Hero Marine at this stage, but I do worry about how slow he's pushing, because remember that Clem has that left side of the map. Even if he lost this location, it would not be the end of the world. He's remaxed. He's got so much money. It all comes down to the next few fights, and it's the tank Viking versus mass Marine Raven. And I think Clem's got to be mega patient. He's got to realize that taking these rocks down, opening up as many paths as possible is probably better for him than it is for Hero Marine. And I think it's all about letting those Ravens get energy. Oh, this is a great angle. But actually, a reinforce comes in from behind. Hero Marine does siege 3 more tanks back there. He's got a fair amount of Marines, a little slow to stim. you know what? Getting a few tanks, not a bad move there for Clem. Does force a lot of these units to the left. And on the right, oh, he starts to go, but then he realizes how deep that tank line is and that he just can't take it, man. Clem's tank is shooting the wrong unit there. He's got to be shooting that siege tank. But interference matrix for Hero Marine as well. On the left, uh-oh, is he going to lose both sides of the map? Clem cannot lose both pushes at once. He's got to win at least one. Oh, tank on the right does get one shot off, but that tank goes down. It looks like Clem is losing both pushes at once. And I feel like he's got so much bank, that's not the end of the world, but it's the risk now that the pressure's on. Is he going to be able to break through? Interference matrix, auto turret combo. But actually, Hero Marine saves a bunch of those tanks into the medevacs. Well done. He says, look, get these tanks, get these Ravens out of there. At the same time, he's cleared up the left of the map, and I feel like Clem has bled too many units in. Where is Clem's supply going? I think he must have sacrificed this army into these tanks. He's going to lose his 7th base, his new 7th base, and his 6th base. He's going to be knocked back down. Clem's been mining a lot more, but the last few minutes has been obscenely efficient for Hero Marine. He actually picks up and drops in the main. He drops 4 tanks and some auto turrets in the main. Clem will slowly clean that up, but not without big damage. He counter strikes on the right of the map though, and he takes out Hero Marine's orbital. Dude, Clem was so ahead economically in this game, but he's just taken some massive, massive hits from Hero Marine. He's finally going to clear up these tanks. But look at this, dude. Clem's ability to mine from all those corner expansions during these trades is what's won him the earlier maps in this series. Now it feels like Hero Marine strangled him off all those edge bases. And, oh man, I feel like at this point, who's got the better army? No real Viking control. More tanks for Hero Marine, but more Ravens for Clem. It all comes down to the micro and the engagements more than anything. And look at this. Hero Marine's just going for the throat. He might just go for the production here. Clem's coming back to fight it. Clem wants to engage this army, but at least one orbital going to go down here. And Clem, I'd love to see him come around the back and try to sandwich this. He's going for a mass Raven force, so it's really got to be all about the sandwich. He's going to go for it, but I think it might be too early. Is it though? Interference matrix, auto turret combo, but great counter. The Marines of Hero Marine focused down a bunch of Clem's Ravens. His own auto turrets went down, and those 2 tanks in the left landed big shots. Clem there, he thought he maybe could get Hero Marine before he was properly sieged it and get the jump on him, but that did not work out for Clem at all. And Hero Marine, once again, look at the units lost. It has turned 8,000 resources in his favor in the last few minutes. He is using this tank, Raven, Viking technical unit advantage to the extreme. Now, unfortunately, that's being mass repaired. That planetary and tank are doing a lot of damage, dude. But he does use auto turrets, interference matrices, finally takes down that tank. There's another tank in the back as well. Holy crap, this planetary is gunning down a lot of Marines, but it looks like, will it finally go down? Clem trying to hang on, but by golly, Hero Marine commits everything. He says, if I can get rid of this base and crack your production, I will have this game. Clem says, that's way too many units you just burnt to do that. I'm going to counter swing as well, mate. You better be able to guard your base. Now, I'd love to see Clem go for the production, but look at that. 2 tanks wedged in the mineral line. That's going to be a hard problem for Clem to deal with. Now, more tanks, more Ravens here for Clem. He's trying to slow this advance of Hero Marine. I think he's done it. Goodbye, Ravens. Goodbye, some of these front-running units. Clem holds on to most of his production. The tanks have been stalled. On the other side, Clem dives in, dude. Clem dives in. He takes out those 2 tanks, but there are a lot more Marines, tanks, and Ravens. And if he can come forward, I think Hero Marine might be able to do that with the Raven move out. He's left 2 tanks behind. He's bringing everything home. Hero Marine wants to get rid of this production, this position. He's just going to go for it. Triple interference matrix goes down. Only 1 tank in the fight, and he's got a big Marine advantage. Does Hero Marine takes those units out? He's got his own units coming from behind. He's actually pre-sieged them. And Clem forced to pick up and lift. Now Clem's got another base up in the midst of this. I don't know how he lands these bases while all this is happening, but Hero Marine's wise to it. He's not going to let Clem keep mining from those edges of the map the way he did in some of the earlier maps. He's going to get right on top of them. And there's another big Marine tank Raven army coming forward. Still tons of Ravens for Clem, but he hasn't been able to use them effectively in these last few fights. And look at the medevac count. Every single Marine has his own personal medevac. Hero Marine says, this base is mine, mother trucker. Clem trying desperately to put down auto turrets, but a lovely interference matrix from Hero Marine. He gets on top of this base. He evicts both of Clem's mining expansions. He's trapping these units. Oh, dude, Clem's got to get out of there, dude. Oh, he's trying to break out right now, but it's mostly SCVs. They're pulled into the battle as Marines stim forward. Hero Marine has too many tanks. Clem is evicted. He's going to lose the command center, and he's going to lose the base, and that was his last mining base. Oh, this is just too powerful from Hero Marine, dude. Hero Marine's got that mining base up there. He's floating a new one down there. Both of them so low on mining, but Clem out of gas at this point. literally and figuratively, out of minerals, out of momentum. And Hero Marine from down 0-2 in this series, it looks like he's coming in with the Doom push. He's established a base behind this on the rich gas. He's at more than double the supply. And by god damn, his usage of these tank pushes has just been absolutely unstoppable. Holy shizzle fizz. What the fudge did we just watch? That was an amazing series. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was so much fun. Let's look at the units lost as we close this one out. That was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I'm going to be doing a few more of these special casts. Sometimes I've seen the maps or some of the games, but we're always going to try and grab the best games of the week that get recommended and throw one of these casts up, hopefully on a weekly basis. But whenever there's an outstanding game or an outstanding series, we're going to be casting these just for you guys up on the YouTube channel. And if they're anywhere near as good as this one, as anywhere near as back and forth, I am looking forward to it. So let me know your thoughts, your feedback in the comments below. And shout out shout out if you expected Hero Marine to turn that one around, because I definitely did not. That was awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next game. Goodbye and good night.